I'm Nancy Norman with Weekly Wisdom. There is an old saying that says, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And I've said, yeah, when the student's ready, the teacher appears or the lesson appears. When the student is ready, the lesson appears. Well, that was certainly true for me this past week. I have had so much to do, and I was feeling in a bit of overwhelm. I was contemplating what I had to do, and all of a sudden, across my mind, flashed this picture of a filing cabinet. And the filing cabinet, every drawer was open, every single one. And there were files coming out. There were files that were peeking out over the drawer. And I thought, what does that symbol have to do with my life? What is it telling me? What is the meaning of it? Well, I took the book Florence Scovel Shinn, The Game of Life and How to Play It, and sat down to begin to prepare for the lesson today. I opened the book to page 77. Now, I have read Florence Scovel Shinn over and over and over again. I think she is a brilliant author, bringing mystical, spiritual, metaphysical truths into a way that we can all understand it. So I've read her book and read her book and read her book, but never had I seen this particular passage. Page 77, mid-page, it says, the student often delays the demonstration through a belief in incompletion. The student should make this statement: in divine mind, there is only completion. Therefore, my demonstration is completed. My perfect work, my perfect home, my perfect health. Whatever we demand are perfect ideas registered in divine mind and must manifest under grace and in perfect ways. We give thanks that we have already received on the invisible, and we make active preparation for receiving on the visible. Wow. In divine mind, there is only completion. Therefore, my demonstration is completed. My perfect work, my perfect home, and my perfect health. That's it. What we demand are perfect ideas registered in divine mind, and they must manifest under grace and in perfect ways. We give thanks that we have already received on the invisible, and we make active preparation for receiving on the visible. That spoke to me. And then Florence Scovel Shinn talks about one of her students who came to her and said, you know, I would like to demonstrate more finances. My husband and I would like to have more financial good in our life, but it's not happening. It doesn't seem to be happening for us. And Florence Scovel Shinn says this: perhaps you are in the habit of leaving things unfinished, and the subconscious has gotten into the habit of not completing. And then in parentheses it says, as the without, so the within. Perhaps you are in the habit of leaving things unfinished, and the subconscious has gotten in the habit of not completing. Well, that young woman knew exactly what Florence Scovel Shinn was saying, and she said, I have a hard time finishing anything. I start things, but I don't finish them. I started a project 3 weeks ago. I'm going home and finish that project, which she did. And God works in strange and mysterious ways. Her husband that month received 2 paychecks, double what he normally made. And when he called the owner of the company and said, I received double what I'm supposed to be having, the owner said, keep it. You deserve it. God's channels. We never know where our good will come because God's channels are many. God's channels are many. Well, all of a sudden, that open file cabinet with the open drawers and the files began to make sense to me. I got the lesson. I was feeling a bit overwhelmed because I had so many things that I had not finished. And the subconscious mind had gotten into the habit of not completing. So I started right off. I'm reading about 5 or 6 books, and all of them are, half read, a fourth read, almost read, and I picked one book. And I thought, okay, I'm going to complete this one book and get what I want from it and go on to the next book. So that file is now closed. I found I had gift certificates that I had not used, wonderful gift certificates. And I gathered them all together and I began making calls. I had several for massages. I had wonderful gift certificates. And so I made calls and I'm booked. I'm using my gift certificates, those wonderful gift certificates, waiting. My good was just waiting there for me. And I wasn't completing it. I wasn't using it. Well, I'm using those. File closed. I had filing to do of important papers. Had them in a stack, but they had to go in the right files. And, important papers. I had to put them where I could find them. And that file isn't quite closed, but it's in the process of being closed. Little by little, I'm releasing unfinished business. And in this process, I've realized there's some remnants. Do you know what a remnant is? A remnant is just a teeny couple threads of things that are not complete. And I realized that there were some remnants of issues that needed to be discarded, released, and let go. And I'm in the process of doing that. Guess what I found? I found handfuls of keys that didn't fit one lock in my home. Out they went, discarded, file closed. I have a number of half-used creams and lipsticks and eyeliners that I no longer use. I'm in the process of releasing and letting those go. File closed. I cleaned out my purse, organized my purse, file closed. Often our prayers are almost answered, but not quite. And when they're not quite answered, I believe that somehow we need to complete something in our lives. Maybe it's forgiveness. Maybe it's as simple as throwing away a bunch of keys. Closing those files. Closing those files. Do you have any unfinished things in your life? If you do, this is a time of divine completion. When the student is ready, the teacher or the lesson appears. God bless you and have a wonderful, wonderful week.